That's a nice book. This is a nice quote. I think I should write it down. True knowledge. True knowledge exists when you know nothing. Did I write this quote? No. So, who wrote this quote? Do you think I should quote the person who has written this particular quote? Absolutely yes. And that's what we call referencing. Referencing means acknowledging the work that you have used in your writing. With references, you further pay respect to the hard work of the author or the researcher, and you also give some credit for their hard work that they have done. Including references further help you to support all your claims, and it ensures that you avoid plagiarism. In simple words, you refer to someone else's work, and referencing is that exactly where you got that information from. If you reference your work well as a researcher, it further shows your intellectual curiosity and your academic depth. There are different referencing styles which are preferred in different academic disciplines. Some of them are the Oxford system, the Harvard system, the Turbanian system, IEEE, APA, Vancouver system, MHRA, and so on. Today, we will be discussing about 5 major referencing systems. Before discussing the 5 major referencing styles, I would like to tell you about the 2 components that are included in referencing. The first is in-text citation and the second is referencing list. In-text citation refers to giving credit to the author's work while you are writing your entire research paper. Whereas referencing list, which you also call bibliography in school, refers to quoting the research work or any link that you have taken information from at the end of your research paper. So the first school of referencing is APA, which stands for American Psychological Association. It is one of the most commonly used referencing styles in social sciences such as economics, politics, psychology, sociology, and so on. In APA, you only make references in the author's last name as well as the year of publication in your in-text citation. For instance, the internet has become a very popular source of information for students, and questions often arise about how to avoid plagiarizing these resources. This particular quotation has been taken from a book, and the in-text citation for this is Pearson and Shield 2019, whereas the referencing list for the same would be. One of the major things about referencing in APA is the commas and the question marks that come in between the referencing list. So make sure you pay attention to that. The second school of referencing is Chicago referencing. It is mainly used for history and occasionally for humanities and social sciences subjects. The in-text citation for the same is similar to the APA, that is, the last name of the author, the year, and the page number. Whereas the referencing style of this in the end would be. Let's discuss the third referencing style, that is MLA, which stands for Modern Language Association. This organization focuses on history, language, and literature. In MLA, the format for the in-text citation is the author's last name and the page number, whereas the referencing style for the same is. So the fourth kind of referencing style is Harvard referencing, which is again used for humanities and social sciences. The citation for Harvard referencing is the author's last name and the year, whereas the referencing list for Harvard referencing is as follows. The fifth referencing style is IEEE, which stands for Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. It is specially used for electrical and electronics as well as applied mathematics, that is, all your STEM subjects. In in-text citation in IEEE, we generally use numbers in a bracket that fully match the referencing list in order and it further appear in that list only. In IEEE referencing, you assign a number to a particular source that you picked information from. Then you use that particular number to refer to that source only throughout your entire research paper. And when it comes to the referencing list, you arrange all your resources in chronological order, that is, the numbers that you have assigned, you will assign your information on the basis of that. For example, the traffic congestion rate has gone up in the last decade, even with cities around the world working hard to optimize their road network performance. Nearly 75% of the cities included in the TomTom Traffic Index report had either increased or stable congestion level between 2017 and 18. This is an excerpt from IEEE papers. Hence, we can assign this particular source as 1 and the referencing list for the same would be. Various referencing styles have different rules, but there are still certain rules that applies to all of these referencing styles. For instance, remember, there are 2 places in which you always have to reference, that is your in-text citation and the second would be your referencing list. In an in-text citation, try to mention the referencing, that is your in-text referencing, as close to the information or the source you have put that information from. Whereas in your referencing list, try to mention all the references that you have used throughout your research paper or your research work in the end. Always remember, the referencing list, that is your bibliography, will always be in the end of your research work. It is an accumulation of all the references that you have used throughout your research work. The second point is the author element, which includes the format of individual author names and the group of author names. This is something which is similar in all the referencing styles. The second element is the date element, which includes the format of the date and further the retrieval date. The next element is the title element, which includes the format of the title and what needs to be written in the bracket description. Now let's discuss the differences between the 5 major referencing styles that we just discussed, that is APA, MLA, Chicago, Harvard and IEEE. So APA, MLA, Chicago and Harvard are only used for social sciences and humanities discipline, whereas IEEE is used for science, engineering, mathematics and so on. The major difference between these referencing styles is that IEEE cannot be used for social sciences and humanities subjects and vice versa. Now let's discuss about the differences that exist in these referencing schools on the basis of in-text citation and referencing list. In in-text citation, for APA, Chicago, MLA and Harvard, you always mention the last name of the author, the year and the page number. Whereas in IEEE, you always mention the numerical number of the source that you picked information from. Now let's discuss the referencing list. In referencing list, in APA, MLA, Harvard and Chicago, you always mention the references in alphabetical order. Whereas in the referencing list, the IEEE references should be arranged in the order of appearance of the in-text citation and not in an alphabetical order, beginning with and continuing in an ascending numerical value from the lowest number to the highest. So that's all for today. Let's summarize what all we discussed. We discussed what is referencing, why referencing is important. We discussed the 5 schools of referencing, that is APA, MLA, Chicago, Harvard and IEEE. We also further discussed the differences that exist between all of these 5 referencing styles, whereas the general rules that apply to all of these 5. So there is a small quiz that all of you can take, and I will see you all in the next video.